Okay, what we're going to cover here now is one of our trend continuation patterns, the GB100. The GB100 is actually a zero-line reject that just went too far. That's the psychology of a GB100. By that we mean it goes below the zero line and below the minus 100 or above the plus 100 and comes back again. And there's different criteria than the zero-line reject, but basically the psychology, it's just a zero-line reject that went too far. Also, what it's showing is the GB100 goes through major support of the zero line or major resistance, and then also test and retest minor support at the minus 100 or the plus 100. So let's take a look at our GB100. One of the nuances that we need to have that's very critical for this pattern is we must have the chop zone indicator either solid blue or solid brown. Now we will allow one or two different colors at around the trigger bar, but basically what we're looking for is a strong trend, and a strong trend being a good uptrend or a good downtrend. So that's one of the nuances that is a definite needed and no deviation from. Okay, here's some trade examples and some setups using the GB100. Again, it's a trend continuation pattern. All right, what we have here is we had an uptrend, and we come down and tested the zero line and went down below, and we went below the minus 100 and we come back up through the minus 100, and that is the zero line reject that just went too far. But you'll notice on the GB100 the chop zone indicator is almost solid blue except for one bar in the middle, and I said I'll allow 2 bars but no more, because we want to have as a trend continuation pattern. So we look for a trend line break at the same time. Now this pattern has to form before the 6-bar prints. So in this case here, we went down below the minus 100, we come back inside the minus 100, and that's the trigger bar. We would look for a trend line break at that same position. If you can't draw a trend line break, the key still of the trade is breaking that minus 100 and then breaking the trend bar immediately after. So if you look at that trade and then look up on the price bars, you'll notice we get right in as that starts to go back up and resume the prior uptrend. And so that is exactly what a GB100 is. And this is on a gold chart, and that turned out to be a nice trade there. Okay, now we're going to take a look at a GB100 on a short. And what's unique about this is going to be on Google, a stock. As I said, the patterns are the same regardless of what vehicle you're trading. Futures, commodities, indexes, stocks, it doesn't make a difference. The CCI patterns are the same. So this is a 5-minute chart of Google, and this is a GB100 short. We had a downtrend established, we had a pullback, zero line reject went too far, and we come back down through the plus 100, breaking a trend line break. Solid brown on the chop zone indicator, as I said, is what we needed, and take the trade short and then follow it all the way down in the continuation of the downtrend. GB100, trend line break, zero line reject that just went too far. Now look at it on the price bars. We had a little bit of pullback, and we just follow this downtrend with the GB100 pattern. So that's on Google, a 5-minute chart of Google. Okay, the next I'm going to have replay examples of the CCI pattern on the chart like we did prior. And here is a GB100 short on the German DAX 5-minute. Again, let's just recap what we had. We had solid brown on the chop zone indicator. At the trigger point, we had 2 bars of color. Coming back through the 100 is our trigger bar. So let's take a look at this. Zero line reject, just it went too far, and you notice we resumed back after 2 colors of brown, no more than that, and we resumed a nice downward trend. And that's what we expect, a nice momentum to the downside, stay with the trade until we get a good angle crossing the minus 100. Now some people will stay with this trade, and if you did stay with the trade, then you could stay with it and get out on another cross a little higher. So it depends on your exit, which trade that you like. But again, let's take a look at that. We had solid brown on the chop zone indicator, only 2 bars of blue and light brown, and we took the trade on coming back through the plus 100. If we were to draw a trend line, we really didn't have any trend line that we could draw, but as I told you before, the key on the GB100 is coming back through that minus 100, or in this case the plus 100. And so that's the trade. Let me go play that back again so you can see it develop. We had a nice downtrend. We had a pullback, just went up a little too far, coming back down through again, and went back, resumed the trend that was established before for a nice trade. Some people got out here. Some people will stay in the trade a little longer, and it will get out crossing back through the minus 100 here. So let me play that again, and we can take a look. We're in at 76.30 was our entry on bar close. And I'll start the pattern again. 76.30 was the entry. Here is 23. 22. 17. 10. 03. 03 was the low. If some people got out at 12, it was 13. Some people stayed with it. And here we are making new lows of 75.98 and got out again at 12. So regardless of where you got in, that was a nice trade on the GB100. So let's take a look at another one. This one, we can draw a trend line. You notice we're drawing a trend line from extreme. We're drawing a trend line here with a touch. On the trend lines, let me explain about trend lines. All trend lines drawn on the indicator must start outside the 100s in order to be a bona fide trend line. They must have at least 2 touches. The more touches, the better. But a trend line must start outside the 100s, have at least 2 touches. If they started from extreme, even that much better, because they're telling you that is a stronger support or resistant line. So let's take a look at this trend, trade GB100 on the DAX. We got a nice trend line drawn, a touch on the 14, 2 touches, basically 3 touches, coming back through the 100 after a nice downtrend, solid brown on the chop zone indicator, and we enter here on the yellow bar, which is the 5th bar. Remember, we have to enter before the 6th bar is printed. So here we go. This is our entry into the GB100. Straight down, nice perpendicular line, breaking major support of the 100 line, of the 0 line, excuse me. Look at that, down to extremes. Hook from extremes. Stay with the trade, get out, crossing the the minus 100 in this case. So again, a nice trade. But look at the angles. We've talked about the angles. Look at the angle coming through the plus 100. Look at the angle breaking the trend line. Look at the angle breaking major support of the 0 line. Look at the angle of this momentuming to the downside. This is what you should come to believe in trading just the damn patterns. That's a beautiful trade right there. And some people get out of hook extreme. Again, notice it only stays a couple bars below oversold condition. Doesn't stay there very much. Comes up, crosses the minus 100 for a nice exit. So let's play that again and look what this trade got for us. 79.41 was the entry into this trade on the 5th bar. 79.41, we're down here to 29.05. 97 low. 97 low. So we got in at 41. We got down to 97 low. That's about 44 points. You wouldn't get the exact bottom, so even if you got 40 points on the trade times $35, again, very, very nice trade. Better than a $1,200 trade. So that's the GB100, and that's what you look for as far as a trend line break, if you can draw one. Coming back, and you're looking for them good angles down, showing good momentuming. Okay, here's another GB100 long. This is a 5-minute mini Dow, YM. We had an uptrend, crossed the 0 line, come back down, cross the minus 100 and come back, and that's our trigger. Notice all the blue on the chop zone indicator. Remember, that is what we needed. We need all that solid blue to show that we got a good, strong uptrend in this case. So we go down, cross it, and come back, and that's our trigger. Now let's run this live, and you can see this again. Good angle coming back through the minus 100. Look at that. Wasted no time, didn't it? Right up to the moon. Got above the plus 100. Retest of it. Go back, bounce away from it, and come back through, and nice exit on the trade. So let's take a look at that again one more time. Again, this is on the 5th bar. Solid blue on the chop zone indicator. We're in at 52, I think it was. We're now up in the 80s, and we finally get out, crossing the plus 100 at 90. So a very nice trade. Again, 0 line rejected, just went too far, in at 52, and it got up into the 134 area. Notice how that pattern just works. Nice angles again, breaking through. Very nice trade, nice exit for a nice winning trade. Another GB100, a trend trade. Continuation of the trend. Here's a GB100 on a 5-minute Apple chart. We had a good, strong up move. We had a 0 line reject, a GB100 that just went too far. You'll notice that it went to the minus 200. That's okay. You can even cross the 200. As long as it comes back and has the criteria of solid blue on the chop zone indicator, we allow 2 bars, excuse me. We got 1 bar of brown there. As long as it's before the 6 bars print, which it is. We can't really draw a trend line on this one, so that would be the trigger on that trade. Now let's take a look at it. Beautiful angle breaking. Look at the angles there, people. Breaking the 0 line, major resistance. Look at it breaking the plus 100, major resistance. Minor resistance there at the 100. For a nice trade. Again, solid blue, nice green colors for trend strength. GB100, it just went too far. Even though it touched the minus 200, it could even actually go through the minus 200, as long as it meets all the criteria. Now, if we had to draw a trend line on this one, this would be another case where we would look for it to break the trend line after coming through the minus 100. We could draw a trend line using the turbo up here, this point on the 14, draw a trend line there, and it would have broke on the next bar. So again, nice angles, beautiful trade. Let's take a look at how this trade did. The long at 133.72. 133.72. We're now up into the 135 area. That's a couple points there. So very, very nice trade. Very, very nice trade. That's on Apple, a 5-minute chart. 132 and change. Now it's up to 137.49 and change. That's 5 full points on a 5-minute chart on Apple. 100 shares, it would be about a $500 trade there. So very nice trade. Here's another GB100 long. This one here, we could draw a nice trend line from the turbo up near extremes there, straight down. We'd have a trend line break as well as coming back through the minus 100, 1 bar of color. And you can see we had a nice uptrend and some attempts to go back up and quite couldn't do it, but yet that GB100 picked that uptrend. So let's take a look at this trade. This is in the oil service industry, the OIH. Again, another stock. Just to show you people that this works on all kinds of vehicles to trade. Hook from extreme, excuse me, and coming back down through the minus, in this case, the plus 100. So again, a beautiful trade. On a fire, this is a 30-minute chart, by the way. This is a 30-minute chart on the oil services. Let's take a look at what this did. 175.43 was the entry on this 35. 175.33. We're up here at 179 and change. And we cross at 179.68 approximately. And we were in at 130.73 and change. 6-point move. Nice trade on the oil service. 30-minute chart. So again, to repeat, these patterns not only work on 5-minute charts, they work on 10-minute charts, they work on 30-minute charts, they work on daily charts, but they also work the same way on every trading vehicle, whether it's stocks, futures, commodities, indexes, whatever you want to trade it on, you can use it. The same patterns apply, the same conditions apply, and that's what makes trading the CCI so unique and revolutionary, as we've been pointing out. Okay, that's the end of the GB100.